Darrell Brooks had throughout the years been in and out of prison, serving a time for a variety of crimes committed against others. But in late 2021, his violent tendencies escalated to a level that would leave an entire community forever changed. In October 2021, Brooks shot his own nephew during a domestic dispute. Not that long after, he used his car as a weapon, running over his ex-girlfriend. He was arrested twice in connection to these crimes, but each time he was released on bond afterwards. Then came November 21st, 2021, the day of the Waukesha Christmas Parade in Wisconsin. Families filled the streets. Bands played, kids laughed, and the town celebrated the holiday season. But that peace was shattered when Darrell Brooks drove a red SUV straight into the crowd. He struck dozens of people, killing some instantly. After abandoning the vehicle, he fled on foot and eventually knocked on the door of a nearby home. Pretended to be stranded, Brooks told the homeowner, "I'm waiting for an Uber and it's cold out. Can I please wait inside?" Moments later, police arrived and arrested him on the spot. The homeowner immediately told officers he had no idea who this man was. At the Waukesha police station, Brooks was uncooperative. 2 days later, on November 23rd, he appeared before Commissioner Kevin Costello at the Waukesha County Circuit Court. He was sitting beside public defenders Jeremy Christian Perry and Anna Keese, while prosecutors Susan Oper and Leslie Boyce appeared on a table next to his for the state. Commissioner Costello set his bond to $5 million cash only, ensuring that he remained in custody at the Waukesha County Jail to await trial. The attack left 63 people injured, 49 being directly struck by the car, and the rest were injured while trying to flee. Those rest only suffered minor injuries, which were treated at the scene. The more severe ones, facing harsh injuries, were transported to the following hospitals used: the Froedtert, Children's Wisconsin, and Waukesha Memorial, the latter located in Waukesha, while others in Milwaukee. 5 people were dead at the scene. Wilhelm Hospital, 81. Virginia Sorensen, 79. Leanna Owen, 71. Jane Coolidge, 52. Tamara Duran, 52. I just mentioned their names and ages. Their bodies were taken to the Waukesha County Medical Examiner's office. It was determined that once the car hit them, they were dead. The smashing was so harsh. Tragically, 8-year-old Jackson Sparks, who was injured, later died at Children's Wisconsin, bringing the total fatalities to 6. The Waukesha County District Attorney's Office charged Brooks with 6 counts of intentional homicide and 77 counts of first-degree reckless endangerment. On February 11, 2022, Brooks pleaded not guilty before Commissioner Costello. While in jail, he made threatening phone calls to his ex-girlfriend, a clear violation of his contact restrictions. This led to a separate witness intimidation case in Milwaukee. The trial for the parade massacre began on October 3rd, 2022. Before it could start, Brooks dismissed his public defenders who were seeking an insanity defense and chose to represent himself, acting as his own attorney throughout the proceedings. He withdrew the insanity claim and simply just pleaded not guilty to try to be freed once the jury reached a verdict. This jury consisted of 12 members and 3 alternates, all of whom were white. Brooks, who is black, did not raise any objections of the jury's composition during selection. The courtroom often descended into chaos as Brooks argued with the judge, refused to allow courtroom procedures to proceed, and at times he claimed he did not recognize his own name. Every day of that trial, he would be kicked out of the courtroom. At one point, he took his shirt off, and at another point, he slammed the table and had a stare out with the judge. After 3 hours and 15 minutes of deliberation on October 26, 2022, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all charges. On November 16th, Judge Jennifer Darrow sentenced him to 6 consecutive life sentences without parole, one for each homicide conviction. That was a prison term, and he received extra years as well. For the reckless endangerment convictions, 762.5 years, and 305 years of extended supervision. For hit and run offenses, 150 years to be served concurrently, the other hundreds consecutively. In total, Darrell Brooks was sentenced to about 1,000 years in prison. In July 2023, Brooks accepted a plea deal in the case involving the shooting of his nephew. He pleaded guilty and received 2 years in prison, plus 2 years of probation to be served consecutively to his Waukesha Parade sentence. Then on May 6, 2024, in the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, a day after Cinco de Mayo, Brooks entered a no-contest plea under another deal related to the incident where he ran over his ex-girlfriend. For that, he received a concurrent 9 years in prison, meaning that it added no additional time beyond what he was serving already. Both plea deals effectively closed his remaining open cases. His witness intimidation case was dismissed as part of the agreements. Shortly after his sentencing in November 2022, Brooks filed a notice of post-conviction relief, signaling his intent to appeal. Wisconsin law requires that notice within 20 days of sentencing, and Brooks complied. His appellate attorney, Michael Covey, repeatedly requested extensions to file the full appeal, citing the need to review hundreds of hours of trial recordings and meet with Brooks to prepare. Eventually, Brooks again chose to represent himself in the appellate process. Judge Darrow held a hearing and determined that Brooks understood the risks of self-representation and was acting voluntarily. His attorney was then allowed to withdraw. As of now, Brooks' appeal remains pending. The issues he has raised include whether he was competent to represent himself at trial and whether his waiver of an insanity defense was properly handled. He also challenges certain procedural rulings, such as the admission of evidence and jury instructions. Judge Darrow has declined to vacate his convictions nor retry the case, leaving the decision in the hands of Wisconsin's higher courts. Brooks waived his right to appeal the plea deal cases, meaning his only active appeal concerns the Waukesha Parade convictions. After sentencing, Brooks was initially housed at the Wisconsin Secure Program Facility in Boscoville. When his location leaked publicly, he was transferred for safety reasons. He is now incarcerated at the South Dakota State Penitentiary in Sioux Falls. This has been Strawberry Ink, where truth and tragedy meet. Thank you for listening. Have a great holiday season and have a good rest of your day.